action. Alright, welcome. This is Mr. Hooper, trying to keep it real on a Friday afternoon, making a notes video before I go to the football game. Unit 3, Note 5. Here's an actual picture of what, showing you what we're going to do before we do it. Oh, it won't let me write on here? No, that's no fun. How about now? Uh-oh. Smartboard. Acting up. Here it is. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. Right here, 1, 8 to the negative 6. So it's to the power of negative 6. What you're going to do is, when I was taught this, I was taught we move it upstairs, right? If you're sad downstairs and it's a negative environment, you go upstairs where it's a positive environment, and it changes from negative 6 to a positive 6, and then your final answer is this. Or you're upstairs and it's a negative environment shown by this negative 2. So we leave all the bad influences, like Justin, we move downstairs and it becomes positive. Or maybe you're downstairs with Sammy and he's being a negative, he's had 7 bad punchlines, you move upstairs and now it's a positive 7. Whatever you guys think, I like to think of it as moving upstairs and downstairs when you're negative. Hey, it's just going to be you. Let's explain it to you. Okay? The rule. Invert the location of the term with a negative exponent and make the exponent positive. So I showed you some of those in the picture. So an example again might be a to the negative 4 over 1. So Adam's upstairs. It's a bad deal. He wants to go downstairs, so you move him downstairs and make it positive. The important thing to see is you can always write this over 1 thing, and you should know that that becomes your up top. Alright, so maybe the problem was given as just x to the negative 7. That would be 1 over x to the 7th. Alright, you can always write in that divide by 1, because anything divided by 1 is the same. So remember, with negative exponents, to flip the location of just the variable with the negative exponent. Write that down. This is very important. So what they're talking about here is the 4 raised to a negative exponent? No. The only thing raised to a negative exponent is this a to the negative 2. So this answer, you leave the 4 alone, and I got to move this a to the negative 2 downstairs, and it becomes a positive. So you leave the coefficient. If there was parentheses, let's run through this quick. If it was 4a to the negative 2, then yes, you would move it downstairs, and it would be become 1 over 4a squared. It could become positive like that, and then this would be actually 16a squared. Look at this. This green stuff, oops, that doesn't show up. How about blue? This blue and green stuff, this is just extra info. That's bonus coverage. That's like breaking live news. Alright, so if I look again, the 1 and 3 are just constants. This x to the negative 1 is sad downstairs, so I'm moving them upstairs. This sad makes me want to draw a smiley face. Okay, I'm done. So this would be x to the positive 1 over 3. On a multiple choice, you're not going to see that. You're just going to see x. We're not going to write any of those 1s. And this would be the best answer on a multiple choice test. Okay? I think that's the first time I drew a smiley face in my lesson. This is awesome. So, moving on. The 6 stays. I don't see any coefficient with it. The a is fine. Alright? A to the positive 1 here, I'm leaving it alone. The only one I have to move is this b to the negative 2. Looks sad down there, so I'm going to, I don't need the negative. That's a 2. Done. 4. Okay. This one would be the first one where I got to move 2 things. The 4 is fine up there, but what do I see here? This needs to go up, and then this needs to go down. So that a becomes a squared. I don't want to write it like that. So I would write it 4a squared divided by, and then all the b's. So, next slide's going to talk about it. So that's the best answer there. So these are the properties of simplified monomials that we were talking about. Each base appears exactly once. All right, keep that. That's going to stay the same. There are no powers of powers. That's the same. That's talking about the parentheses. All right, there's no parentheses in any of our answers. That's still the same thing. If all fractions are the simplest form, we're still doing that. We haven't had to yet, but they'll be on the back. But here's the new one, and you should star this. No negative exponents. That's now a rule for you guys. You got to change them to positive by moving them upstairs or downstairs is how I think of it. For some reason, I didn't have number 5 on our note sheet on the smartboard. So let's talk about 2x cubed times 7x to the negative 1. Okay. So first off, you have 2 and 7. I could write it like this too if it makes you feel better. 2 times 7 is 14, then x. What we're looking at is multiplication. And if you remember my multiplying equals adding exponents because you're adding to get bigger. So actually what you have is x to the 3 plus negative 1 here. 3 plus a negative 1 is x squared. That's my final answer. Okay, one base, no parentheses, all that stuff. So 6 was negative 5a to negative, blah, 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 blah. Let's not use red. We already used red, so 6. Negative 5a to the 4th, b to the negative 6 times 12a b squared. That b squared looks silly. Sorry about my handwriting, it's late. Okay, now this is multiplication again. If you like parentheses, that's fine too. What I see here is a negative 5 and a 12. So I'm going to get rid of those by making it negative 60. Maybe I cross them out this time. Alright, now we're multiplying still. So what we have is a to the 4th times a would be a to the 5th. And now here's something fun. This is why I think this is the best unit. B to the negative 6 plus 2 is equal to b to the negative 4th. Now what do I know about this? Okay, can I write b to the negative 4th here? Yes, you can. You're going to get it marked wrong. The best answer is to draw this little division sign here and make that happy by moving it downstairs. So the best answer is right there, and then get rid of it. Okay, so negative 60, a to the 5th, b over 4. I think that's pretty cool because we're still using our multiplying, you add the powers, and we're still doing that. But then we got to decide where it goes. If it's positive, we left it up here. If it was negative, we moved it down here, and we got b to the positive 4 now. This is why this is so fun. So let's keep going. Now your numbers are all off too, by the way. Number 5 is number 7. If that upsets you, come yell at me. Okay, so I see this one. It's going to be hard to see in a sec because I'm knocking markers over. Okay, that one needs to come downstairs. This one up here goes up. Alright, so I'm going to have c squared as a constant. Now I would write it as just d to the positive 5, all divided by b, and negative 3 comes down. It's just going to be 3. So you get to make all these positives by moving them up and downstairs. This is actually pretty fun. I love doing this, to be honest with you. Ooh, alright, so here's our coefficient thing. We have a 3 and a 21 here. Okay, 3 and 21, I would know, reduces to, let's see, how did I write this? 7. How about 7? There's not a good color. I don't know why I thought green would work. Purple would work. I don't know. So I have 7 here over, okay, I have negative 4. Okay, one way to write this is I have a squared. Now I have a to the 4th. Alright, so we got rid of these. So I had b to the 7th and b to the 7th. If you remember last time we did subtracting, so b to or division, and when you do division, you divide the powers, or when you do division, you subtract them. B to the 7th is just b to the 0, which is 1. So I'm actually not going to have to write b anymore. B canceled itself out. And then what's up top? C to the 5th, because I'm moving this up, making it positive. So actually what I see here is, I didn't want to do this in my head, but a squared and a to the 4th, this right here, you would, when you're multiplying, you add the powers. So I'm going to only write a to the 1 time. That base is only written once. 2 plus 4 is 6. I'm kind of trying to explain it different ways. If you can do that mental math, that's great. I'm just trying to make sure everybody can get it. So c to the 5th, 7a6. So number 7 here on your slide, number 9 on your paper. I should just make this a 9. Sweet. Make this a 10 before I forget. So what sticks out like a 4th sum? This to me. So I'm going to do that, and that's going to be a 4. Let's do this. Let's just do q again. Q squared. I got that right here. Move that down. Okay. R to the negative 3. So this was R. I'm going to write R up here. And then S to the 4th is here. This one right here, I got to move up. So that's going to be S to the 5th. If you like to write it like that, that's great. Alright, this is just going to be R to the 4th, S to the 9th, 4, Q cubed. Awesome. Number 10, I'm going to actually leave. Alright, this is one. You're going to have to come show me. Show me you can do this before we go on to the practice. Alright, I'm going to try and remember to make sure I check number 10. I haven't done that to you guys in a while. So this is 11. This is why we're going to do these together, because they're negative. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. The first way, I'm going to do what's inside first. So this D here, this is D to the 1st. 1 minus 5 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. Either way, you still have C squared D to the 4th. Okay? This is negative 1. Now the next thing you would do is multiply this power, and a lot of people are getting that wrong on the quiz. You multiply that power in, so it would be C to the negative 2, D to the negative 4. What do I want to do here? Upstairs, downstairs, equals D to the 4th, C squared. What I want you to pay attention to is right here. The difference between this and this is it was flipped. That's what a negative power does. But I'm going to write this out over here again because you want to pay attention to it, because it's not a negative 1, it's a negative 2. So I'm going to cancel out my extra x's. So here I have an x to the 1. I'm going to rewrite it as 3x. 2 minus 1 is 1 over y to the 5th. Okay. Here's why I would still do this. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can multiply that power in, so it'll be 3 to the raised to the negative 2 power, x to the negative 2 power, because these are 1s here, over y to the negative 10. Okay. And then you would make the powers go downstairs. You could have 3 squared, x squared, over y to the 10th. That would actually not be your final answer. What's wrong with 3 squared? 3 squared is actually 9, so it'll be 9x squared over y to the 10th. Sweet, that's what I have on my paper. The other thing you can do on this step is you could flip it. So you could have y to the 5th over 3x, but by flipping it, you still have the power of 2. Okay, so then you've moved everything downstairs went upstairs, everything upstairs went downstairs, which is what you wanted to do when you flip it. Okay, now what you would do is you'd still multiply that 2 in. So 5 times 2 is y to the 10th over 3 squared, which is 9, and then x times 1 is 2. I don't know how many people can see it. That got sloppy there at the end. Okay, you get the same answer twice. I don't know why I keep showing you 2 ways to do it. I just want you to be comfortable doing it either way. Okay, so I'll run you through 11. 11's an easy one. It's -1. So to me, I'll look at this. I'm going to simplify the inside first. I have y there, and I actually have x to the 3. So I would move that x downstairs here. I would say that's x to the 3rd times x to the 5th. I'm not going to write that. 3 plus 5 is x to the 8th. That's still to the negative power, but negative powers just means you flip it. You move everything upstairs or downstairs. So this is your final answer here. X to the 8th divided by y. If you can do that, great, in your head, whatever it takes. I won't do it in your head. I'd do at least 2 steps. Really, there was probably a 3rd step here, but I didn't want it. And then number 12, you're showing me again. All right? Hey, best of luck. I'm trying to keep notes videos shorter, but if you need a hard example, make sure you ask. Otherwise, I'm just leaving it the way it is. All right? You guys have been an awesome group, so keep it up so far. I got a football game to catch.